Hey there, Michael Greenwood here. Yeah, Mike, sounding good, is it? Yep, that's good. Right. Okay. So for this video, I'm going to talk about time audits and how to do them. Right. So time audits, just a little illustration here on this really messy whiteboard. So time audits, they lead to clarity and success, and then it's an iterative process, as you can see here. So once you've finished the time audit and got the results, um, you can repeat the steps basically. But what is a time audit, and why might it be something that you want to build into your work, the work that you do, whether you're a business owner, whether you're an employee, and yeah, so there's all kinds of different types of people uh, can benefit from time audits, and it's one of those things that I only even heard about this a few years ago from a business coach. So surprised me that I'd never been taught this before. I'd never come across this at all. May even seem obvious to a lot of you watching this, or maybe not. But I were having a conversation with a prospective client yesterday, and I he seemed to be struggling with moving his business forward so that then he can get to a point to utilize my services, which is lead generation services. I own a digital marketing agency. So I spent a bit of time on the phone with him, uh, coaching him to help him to um, with the next steps really, because he was really nice guy, really open mindset to change. So I thought I'd be all altruistic and give him a bit of time, even if he never ends up going ahead and being a customer. It's just part of being in business, helping people, and not expecting monetary gain from it, not expecting to be compensated necessarily, because we're compensated in the grand scheme of things. If I speak to and help 100 prospects, then a proportion of those are going to go ahead, and we're either going to expend time as business owners or money, or a bit of both in getting new clients. So it's all part of the marketing and sales process. So right, time audits then. So time audits. What we do is we're planning tomorrow today, obviously, aren't we? So if you're not, what is planning tomorrow today? It's having a master plan, whether that's 18 months or 12 months or whatever. I like to have an 18-month plan. And then it's planning what you're doing every day, working towards that. Yeah. So you might plan every month, every week. You might plan on a Friday afternoon or a weekend, the or even a Monday morning, what you're going to do the following week. I would say don't plan on a Monday morning. I would say plan on the Friday afternoon or the Friday for the following week, because then you can do your reflective practice and then plan and reprioritize and all that kind of thing. Um, so the way that I do it, in case this is helpful or interesting to you if you don't plan tomorrow today, is on an evening, I will plan the next day and I'll do reflective practice on what I got done that day, so that whilst it's fresh in my mind. So uh, Friday afternoon is about planning for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the following week. So and then when it gets to Monday evening, I'll be planning the Tuesday. Yeah. So the planning for Monday is done on Friday. In fact, the planning for the whole of the following week is done on a Friday. Um, and then Monday afternoon, evening is planning for Tuesday. So it's always like a little planning session, planning tomorrow today, but the big week's planning session has been done on a Friday. So that's the way that I do it. And then what I'll do is every so often, usually every 3 to 6 months, I'll do a 2 week time audit. So it doesn't have to be 2 weeks, but if everything you do in the business is done within 1 week, you can do a 1 week time audit. If you've got if things are more spread out and it takes 2 weeks to cover everything in the time audit, then it'll be a 2 week time audit. Maybe you don't. Maybe you only do things once a month, some things once a month in the business. So you might need to do a 1 month time audit to cover everything. But basically, a time audit, how to actually do it practically is, let's say you work 9 well 5, yeah? At 9 o'clock, you start work, you've planned tomorrow today, so you know what you're doing. If anything comes in and you need to firefight it, then obviously rejig your calendar. And I use time block planning for that. So I'll kind of cross out what we're going to do and then move it, to another time slot. And then that probably has a knock-on effect with everything else as well, unless you built some kind of slack in there and all that kind of thing with project management and time management and everything. But then so you start at 9. Once it gets to 9:15, what have I done? Have I done what I said I were going to do? Yep. And then when it gets to 9:30, have I done what I said I were going to do? Now, that's how I've been taught to time block. So doing it in 15-minute increments, yeah? And that can really keep you on track. Now, it depends how bad you are at procrastinating or going off on a tangent or attempting to multitask. Like it illegitimately multitask between different things and thinking that you're productive, but you're really not productive. Um, I work in time blocks, usually in 90 minutes. So I'll do a 90-minute time block and then half an hour break, 90-minute time block, 90-minute break. And I'll look to get 4 or 5 time blocks into a day. So at 90 minutes, 4 time blocks is 6 hours of solid deep work. 5 time blocks is 7.5 hours. So it depends how much work you've got on, how much work you need to do, how aggressively you want to scale your business, how ambitious you are to grow your business. I find that working a 90-minute block, if I can get into flow, get into deep work, then I'm good to just kind of say, did I work constantly on that thing at that time? An example of that is if I'm doing cold calling, I pretty much know if I've done 90 minutes of cold calling from the KPIs and the metrics and everything. So I don't need to stop every 15 minutes and write down if I've been doing it because I know I've been doing it. Let's say you're working on a different type of work where you might have distractions. Maybe you're working an office and you've got people who might ask you things. Maybe you're a manager or something like that, and you've got people maybe distracting you. And that's still work. Obviously, you're a manager. You need to delegate, manage, all that kind of thing. But let's say that's going on, and you're trying to get some work done though, and you're in an office and you need to get that done, and you can't just like zone out and get into deep work and stuff like that. I'd say, hey, that might be a problem. So maybe you need to change your environment to do those work blocks, stuff like that, depending on your role. But you can still write down in between that. So I plan to do 90 minutes on this report or whatever it is, but then I were interrupted legitimately because I'm a manager, it's my job, 4 times during that time. And each one of those took 10 minutes. But then you've got to think, right, does it take me 7 or 8 minutes to get back into into flow? That's the key thing as well. So you've got to remember that it takes time to get into flow as well. So that's all it is. That's all time block planning is. But then what do we do from there? We can do elimination, automation, then delegation. So that exact sequence. So everything we've done, is it if you're a business owner, was it a working on the business task? Was it a working in the business task? So you can categorize it as that. You can also categorize it as, is it income generating? Is it something that's generating income, or was it just an admin task? Then you've got to think, right, does that admin task actually need doing? Is that getting me a return on investment at this stage in my business, or can I just stop doing that? Right. So if you can eliminate it, and nobody in your business should be doing it, then you should eliminate it. That should be the first thing. So you shouldn't be automating something that you shouldn't even be doing in the business. You should eliminate it. You certainly shouldn't be hiring somebody to do something that you shouldn't be doing in the business. You should be eliminating it. So it's in that order. It's eliminate, it's automate, then it's delegate. So let's say you've eliminated everything that's come up on your time audit that you shouldn't be doing in your business, that nobody should be doing in your business. Then you can start to automate things. Now, it should be cheaper to automate things than it is to hire people. So that's why next step is automation. So automate whatever you can automate then, before you even hire somebody, because it's more expensive to hire people than it is to automate. So that's a time block. That's a time audit basically in a nutshell. It's just making sure we all have these plans to do things to reach our goals, but then are we actually productive in the day? People say that they work 16 hours or 10 hours or 15 hours as an entrepreneur or that kind of thing, but a lot of the time, are we just really doing anything? So it's a good way of personal accountability and actually finding out where your time is actually going and how you're actually working, how your brain's working and stuff like that, and how much you're procrastinating. So I hope this has been helpful. See you next time. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'm going to go and enjoy the sunshine now.